Hello, and welcome back to Who's Who at WNYLRC. I'm your host, Omar Brown, and my guest today is Ayodele Ojumu. Ayodele is the librarian for Lafayette High School in Buffalo, New York. How you doing, Ayodele? Thank you for joining me.
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. Doing great. Doing great. Can you tell us more about yourself and the work that you do?
Yes. For the last 10 years, I'm going into my 11th year in the Buffalo Public Schools
Right.
as the librarian at Lafayette High School. It was Lafayette when I first started, and
Okay.
then it changed over the 10 years. Now it's Lafayette International. So, a high school librarian works with teachers, works with administrators, parents,
Right.
aides, students. So our primary job is helping students analyze or meet their informational needs as well as their reading advisory needs. So readers advisory is finding books that they like to read for pleasure.
Right.
Informational needs would be doing research, to meet assignment, you know, requirements, to help with their homework,
Right.
things of that nature. Also, so that would also include using databases, using print resources, citing, citation so as not to plagiarize.
Right.
Let's see what else. Helping teachers with, or collaborating with teachers, excuse me. So they might have a project idea and wonder what resources we have or what resources are available. I
Oh,
could also meet needs like students might need study guides,
right.
um, do a resume, fill out a job application. So it could be anything. It could be they're going through some kind of death in the family. Um, just any needs you find. I guess it could be very similar in the sense to public librarianship. Now I've been a librarian for New York Public Library. New York City schools. I was in a middle school. Then I went to SUNY Fredonia. I worked for the Rochester City School District, and now
Wow.
I'm in Buffalo. So I've had an array of librarian experiences that I bring to the table now. So that's pretty much it. I don't feel that what librarians bring is always what is used or what we're asked
Right.
or relied upon.
That takes us to our second question. So, what attracted you to become a librarian?
Well, it could go back to when I officially became attracted. So I would say I have always been an avid reader from a child. So I was reading um probably well, I started with the teenage books, Judy Bloom and all of that. And
Right.
but then I moved into VC Andrews when I was like in seventh grade. I should have been reading that stuff. I was an addict, but I was just running through books. So I went to Hutch Tech High School, and then I would go down to the public library, the main branch downtown, and I
Right.
would just look for books. I liked history. I liked historical fiction. I just love learning. And so I've always been an avid reader. Still to this day, I read like a book every 2 days. I just like to read.
That's
Um,
good.
so that probably was always a love I had for libraries, research and reading. And then when I went to college, I needed a job, a part-time job, and I had one doing like the fast food pizza or something. But then the position came up in the physics, optics, and astronomy library, and they needed a work study student. So then I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna stay over the summer and take some classes. Let me apply for the job. Got the job, and that's when I think I really saw being work in a library is something professional, something that could be a career.
Right.
Um, and I basically learned everything, the shelving, the checking in the periodicals. I had to photocopy, the table of contents for professors. I had to fix copy or whatever. So the point was, I wanted to do it. At the time, the library director was like, "You don't want to do this," because I think he was frustrated that day. Like, you always got to beg for money and this and that. So then I was like, okay, maybe that isn't something that I could do. So I graduated, and then I don't know, I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do because I knew I had to go to grad school.
Right.
A job came up opening at Canisius College Library. So I applied for it. It was a evening and weekend supervisor. So I supervised the students in the circulation department.
Right.
So I ended up getting that job, working 4 to 12, 3 days a week. And then once I got there, I told the circulation librarian, I was like, I really want to become a librarian. I really like it. I had this job and now I like this. So she was like, great, we'll help you. So that's how it started. They helped, they wrote recommendations or whatever I needed. I did it. And I basically worked there for 2 years from like 95 to 97 and finished library school. And then the rest is history.
Oh,
So,
great. That's great. Well, this right here comes to our last question for the interview. Can you
okay.
tell us something that your colleagues would be shocked to know about you?
Ooh. I don't know if they would be shocked. People that know me. Let's see. Well, right now I'm into trying to create digital content like uh planners, stickers. Um, I love watching mukbangs on YouTube. People eat
I'm sorry. What is that?
mukbangs. It's a
Muck
Korean
bombs?
word. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Educated listeners, I never heard of that.
Basically, it comes from it's a Korean word, but I guess what in my research I learned that people who lived alone wanted someone to eat with. So they started creating videos and had a following so they would eat like that and then kind of like they weren't alone. They had people who were watching them eating with them, but then it's a
Oh,
whole phenomenon now that people are getting paid to do this. They eat
okay.
various things. It could be crazy things. It's ASMR where you people like hearing people chew or crunch.
Right.
Uh, but I like watching the people who eat seafood.
Okay.
I don't
Wow.
know
That's
why.
that's that's excellent. You know.
But I learned recipes, I learned seasoning because they also do cooking and show you that. So I
Right.
love YouTube. So I watch those type of videos. I always look anything up that I want to know about. But like I said, I'm into this digital content creating now,
Oh, okay.
which may or may not be interesting to people. I don't have any friends that do it, so I guess it is something different.
Great. Okay.
I like digital planning, so I'm into that right now.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's really great. I learned something, so thank you for sharing that.
I
Well, this
hope I
concludes our interview
explained it
for
right.
today. I'm sorry?
Mhm. I said, I hope I explained it right.
Yes, okay. Someone would know what mukbang is, or bang, or how you pronounce it. But again, this concludes our interview for today, and I want to thank Ayodele for joining us today. This concludes our interview, so thank you for joining us. Have a good
Well,
day.
thank you for listening.
Members of WNYLRC are able to utilize a number of programs and services, including archival and digital services, Ask Us 24/7 chat reference, Ask the Lawyer, Empire Library Delivery, Hospital Library Services, InfoPass, and a professional development. Please visit www.wnylrc.org to learn more.